Well, good afternoon. Joining us today are a number of people. Senator Alan Cropsey, Tim DeWitt, and Bill Schaefer of the RV Association. From Gift to Life, we have Richard Petrosky and Amy Olszewski, Rob LeBrant from the Michigan Chamber, and from the Michigan Eye Bank, Lisa Langley, and James Dunn from the Lions Club. Good afternoon. Welcome to what I understand is the first ever State of the Secretary of State office. I want to thank my volunteers, the media in attendance, and everyone who is watching via Ustream. During my first 100 days as Secretary, my team and I have evaluated every aspect of the Secretary of State operations to find out what works, what we can improve, and where we can cut costs. Business leaders, financial experts, and dozens of volunteers joined us as we scrutinized our operations, asking, can we do it smarter, better, at less cost, more efficiently? Is this in keeping with best business practices? Does this promote access to elections and election integrity? Is it transparent? Are we being accountable to the people we serve? And finally, though it's been done in a certain way, is that the best practice in our ever-changing environment? The Department of State takes in $2.2 billion every year, of which more than 90% goes to pay for roads and schools and other state programs. Our operations include 1,400 employees who handle 80,000 transactions each day. We have 131 branch offices and nearly 70 self-serve kiosks. We license 7 million drivers, we register 9 million cars annually, and we serve 7 million voters. Chances are, your Secretary of State's office may be your only regular interaction with the state. We are the very public face of the state of Michigan. As part of our efforts to assess our services, we created a secret shopper program asking volunteers from all across Michigan, from all walks of life, to visit 83 branch offices throughout Michigan, anonymously, and tell us what they found. Their findings? Several of our busiest branches had wait times of 1 to 3 hours. At the same time, the Secret Shopper program found the vast majority of our staff are professional, courteous, informed, and helpful. I'm really not surprised. The Secretary of State employees have been dedicated and committed to excellence during my first few months on the job. We examined not just the branch system, but all of our operations down to the smallest details. To save money, I insisted that we use up every piece of old stationery and envelopes with my predecessor's name on them. My mom got her driver's license renewal recently and asked why my name wasn't on it. Because we saved $50,000. I believe we owe the people of Michigan, the taxpayers, an accounting of where we're at and what we're going to do. Our goals will be accomplished with internal directive changes and working with the legislature for a comprehensive agenda. We'll streamline operations and reduce wait times at the branches. We'll require transparency and accountability in all aspects of our operations. We'll fight for reforms that will help safeguard election disclosure and integrity. Previous secretaries, from Richard Austin to Candace Miller and Terry Lynn Land, all made changes from advances in technology to the sometimes painful office branch consolidations. Today, we face our own challenges. Our staff has been reduced by 25% to the 2002 levels. Last year, we lost knowledgeable veteran employees as part of the state's Early Out program. Moreover, we must work in an unprecedented economic environment and must be in step with efforts to reduce the size of government. Within weeks of taking office, I agreed to cut $2.1 million from our general fund allocation, which accounts for nearly a 20% reduction. I'd like to think of challenges as an opportunity for improvement. We've taken some good first steps so far, but there's some major issues that we'll need time to address. First, one of our biggest initiatives in the coming year will be to safeguard access to elections and election integrity. Clean, fair elections are simply too important to democracy and to our republic. According to a 2008 report by the nonpartisan Pew Center on the State's Michigan, we had an impossible 102.54% of the eligible voters registered to vote in the state. We'll be cleaning up the voter rolls. This month, we took a huge step forward in identifying thousands of deceased voters still listed on our qualified voter files. This was done with the assistance of a nationally recognized change of address vendor. Once each is independently verified, we'll work to remove all the deceased people from the voting rolls and limit the potential for fraud. I look forward to working with our county, city, and township clerks who are dedicated, professional, and committed to excellence. Laws must be strengthened to keep the rolls clean. For example, about 70,000 residents surrender their driver's license every year when they move out of the state. Federal election law, however, does not allow us to remove those names for 2 federal election cycles. Additionally, we put together a task force of some of the top election officials in the state to identify key challenges and solutions. We'll close photo ID loopholes. Right now, one can register and vote by absentee ballot without ever showing ID or an affidavit signature, something that is required for voters on election day at the polls. We'll stop efforts to manipulate the election system like the fake Tea Party last year. We'll hold political candidates and committees on all sides accountable. Those who fail to comply with campaign finance disclosures laws cannot be allowed to walk away with a slap on the wrist. To resolve these issues, we're working with the legislative leaders on a comprehensive election reform package that will close loopholes, put teeth in our election laws and campaign finance laws, and get obsolete laws off the books. Another top priority must be ensuring ballot security to preserve the ability to recount elections. As many as 1/3 of ballots cast in elections subject to recount were not able to be recounted because of improperly sealed ballot containers. In some cases, 100% of the votes in certain jurisdictions could not be recounted. This should not and will not be tolerated. To safeguard ballots, we'll be requiring the use of receiving boards on election night so ballot containers can be double-checked to confirm that they're properly secured. We're working to improve and ensure consistent training for poll workers and proper procedures through a new DVD under development right now, online classes, and regional training sessions. Michigan has 30,000 poll workers in 5,200 precincts throughout our state. We're working with vendors to provide an immediate quick fix to secure ballots. This would be an inexpensive, easy-to-use device to properly seal ballot containers. We'll be implementing post-election performance audits and working with local clerks on a continuing education program. Along with these changes, we must continue to do everything we can to encourage every eligible resident to cast their vote on election day. After 6 years as the chief election official for Michigan's second largest county, I'm proud of my record in promoting voter turnout. That's why I fully support the consolidation of school election dates as a means to improve voter turnout, cut costs, and return tax dollars to our classrooms. I also support efforts to offer no-reason absentee ballots to individuals who personally appear at their local clerk's office and comply with ID requirements. Our second biggest challenge is outdated technology. The Secretary of State office is using 1970s computer mainframe technology, which means we're still relying on manual data entry, sometimes even pen and pencil operations. Here it is, 2011, yet only 7% of our citizens' transactions are done online. This affects us across the board, from inefficiencies and inconveniences for our customers to employee morale. The solution is clear. We need better and more advanced computer technology, which we thought was coming as part of the Business Application Modernization, or BAM project. Over the last 5 years, taxpayers of Michigan have invested $27.5 million in BAM,